Good morning, students. We'll continue with our topic, that is memory management, chapter 2, chapter 3. We had last completed with page fault handling. Now, next is instruction backup. This is happens when an instruction causing a page fault. So, if an instruction cause a page fault, it goes into the instruction backup because it should not lose the data. So, they have an opcode, and then they have first operand, and then they have second operand, and this hold is given a 16-bit space for moving. So, move dot l hash 6a1, the value is also been specified of that particular instruction, so that page fault does not lose the data of that particular um, processing. Next is backing store. So paging to a static swap area and backing up pages dynamically. So for backing up, what do? We have two different criteria. The first one is static swap area. Static means I have a static swap area through which I will be swapping from page table to swap area and again back to the original place. So static means certain fixed amount of places only where we will be there, in which they have to shuffle according to their needs of processing, and the pages also will be defined prior in the main memory. Whereas you can see here in dynamic you have disk map, page table and swap area. So here in dynamic, backing up pages is dynamic allocation done by the disk map, but through the comparison, or we can say mapping of page table as well as my swap area in the disk. So mapping will randomly give me swap values whichever area is free. Next is separation of policy and mechanism. Memory management system is divided into three parts: a low level memory, main memory unit handler, then a page fault handler, that is a part of the kernel, and external pager running in user space. So there are three mechanisms, or we can say divided into three parts, memory management system. So main memory unit, then the page fault, and the external page running in the user space. So separation policy mechanism works on main memory unit handler, page fault and the user process. So your page fault handler is an external page problem which again talks to the disk. So we'll go one by one. If page fault occurs in the kernel space, what it will do, it needs a page, user process will need a page for handling that page fault, and for that it requires an external pager. Once that external pager is going to talk to the request page from the disk. Once the page is there, the page will arrive in the external pager. The page will be given to the fault handler. The fault handler will map the page in the main memory unit handler. So this is the main person to work at the end is the main memory unit handler, who is going to work on this whole process, and the external process of handling will be done in the user space, whereas external pager will only given to and fro. You can see this arrow as well as this arrow working together so that the page fault handling can be handled for interruption. Next is segmentation. In operating system, segmentation is a memory management technique. So segmentation is one memory management technique in which memory is divided into variable size parts. So variable size segments means what? We divide it into parts so that each part is known as a segment. For our task to be completed, we divide the data into segments so that which can be allocated to a process. So if it does not require 16 KB, it will be provided with 8 KB. Likewise, certain segments are provided. The details about each segments are stored in the table called as segment table. The details of all these segments created, variable length segments created, will be stored in the segment table. Likewise, as we seen earlier, pages were compared in the page table. Likewise, segments will be compared in the segment table. Example of tables generated by compiler. So what are the examples? We'll see that. The source text being saved for the printed listing. So the text is waiting for prints to be listed. There are n number of prints, so it is waiting in the list. The symbol table names and attributes of variables. So if we have created a file, names, symbol table and attributes of that file are are there separately. The table containing integer and floating point constants used. So there are values in the table which contain integer values, that is numerical values, and floating point, that is decimal values. The parse tree syntactic analysis of the program. Parse tree is one type of function which is being done. The stack used for procedure calls within compiler. So for compilation you require a stack, that is total bunch of values. So they are also there. So such examples can be kept in the tables for generation by the compiler. So how does your segmentation work? So if this is my virtual address space, my normal call stack is there. Call stack means I have n number of values. Then I have parse tree separately currently being used by the parse tree. Parsing is joining the values. Then constant table is the segmentation table. Then source text which is coming from the user, and symbol table to identify if there are any symbols. Symbol table has bumped into source text so that symbols get merged with the source, and then it is constant table working for parsing the values together to address in the stack. Next is consider what happens if a program has a much larger than usual number of variables but a normal amount of everything else. So if a program has more number of values or more number of data, what will happen? But it is normal amount of everything else. Other things are same, only the data is more. The chunk of address space allocated from the symbol table may fill up, but there may be a lot of room in the other tables. So address spaces will be more because of the data, but other spaces will be empty. So what is needed is a way of freeing the programmer from having to manage the expanding and contracting tables in the same way that virtual memory eliminates. Like virtual memory, what they will do is they will free up the space for the programmer which is not required for the segments to be allocated in the table. So a straightforward and quite general solution is to provide the machine with many completely independent address spaces which are called as segments. So to give them a particularly independent address space is one solution which is called as a segment. So each segment consists of linear sequences of addresses. They will consist of n number of each segment. One segment is there. One segment will have a range of addresses starting at 0 and going up to some maximum value. So starting from 0, they can be 10, they can be 30, they can be 50. So a range of values is provided. The length of each segment may be anything from 0 to the maximum address allowed. Different segments may and usually do have different lengths, so length will vary depending on the segment division. Moreover, segment lengths may change during execution also. So during the time of execution also, segment length change. The length of a stack segment may increase. Stack can increase because it's merging everything whenever something is pushed onto the stack, and decreased whenever something is popped off the stack. So if something is removed, the size of the stack will decrease. If something is included, size of the stack will increase. Because each segment constitutes a separate address space, each segment will have different address spaces. Different segments can grow or shrink independently without affecting each other. So there is no interdependency of address spaces. So they can shrink, that is, they can get compressed, or they can grow their data on their own without affecting anyone. If a stack in certain segment needs more space to grow, if a certain stack value needs to grow, that is they need to acquire more address, it can have it because there is nothing else in its address space. So it can increase because there is nothing else in that one address space to bump into. So nobody else is going to enter in that address space, other address from the other address space. So of course a segment can fill up, but segments are usually very large, so this occurrence is rare. So if segments are usually very large, so they do not require to expand, the space is more than enough. To specify an address in this segmented or two-dimensional memory, the program must supply two-part address, a segment number and an address within the segment. That is, it should give you a two-part segment, that is, one is a segment number and an address within to say fill that segment. So that, for example, is we can say if I give you a roll number and a name, I'm giving you an identification number as well as a location to get stored. So this can be an example of your segment number and segment address. So segmentation is done like this, that is segment 1, 2, 3 and 4. So all the segment memory allows each table to grow or shrink independently. So these are the separate segments. They do not have to be interdependent. Depending on their requirements, they can feed the value in the data, or sorry, feed the value in the system. So called stack, symbol table, source text, constants, parse tree are all the segments which are there. It starts from 0 and it ends in the maximum value for the arrangement of values. Next is the segmentation. What are the considerations and what are the paging and segmentation comparisons? So this will learn in the next lecture. We'll stop here. Thank you.